Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to California in America once again, one of the epicenters of American craft brewing as many of you will know, and we're going to head to Fort Bragg in the north of the state today, who have an awesome brewery called North Coast Brewing Company, and the beer that we're having a look at tonight is a little bit special. This one is the Old Stock Ale and this one is the 2015 vintage. This beer changes a little bit year on year, usually the ABV and I guess some other little tweaks to the recipe as well, but it does stay largely the same, and this particular vintage comes in at 11.9%. Now the Old Ale is an Old English style of beer, very malty, usually a high ABV as you may have guessed. Meant to be really nice, but this is actually my first encounter with the style, so I'm very interested to see how it turns out. And this one was rated 97 overall on Rate Beer and 99 within the style. So one of the top 50 old ales in the world, so really interested to see how this beer turns out. So we'll see how we get on. I really did enjoy the Rasputin Imperial Stout that I did from these guys before, and I'm sure this one won't disappoint either. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. It will be quite brief, but if you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. The brewery website, the link to my other North Coast reviews, and there's all the usual social media there. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel, and to those of you watching in California, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review, and hopefully I can find some of them either in Denmark or here in Sweden. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about North Coast Brewing Company. So as I mentioned, these guys are from Fort Bragg in Northern California, and the city was actually founded prior to the US Civil War as a military garrison, but before this it had been home to the Native American Pomo tribe, but today it's more well known for its view of the Pacific Ocean. Meant to be a very picturesque part of the country, if you like, and the photos that I looked up before did seem very nice, so I need to go to California and go on a beer holiday. But the brewery was founded in 1988 by Mark Rudrich, who is actually the company president and also the brewmaster as well. But originally they opened up as a local brew pub, but since then they've scaled up their production quite dramatically. More recently, Mark has actually been joined in the running of the company by Tom Allen and Doug Moody, and in 1994 they acquired the rights to continue brewing the Acme beer brand, and now they brew these alongside their own range of beers. And they also have an on-site tap room and offer tours of the brewery as well, so if you find yourself in Fort Bragg, you can go and visit North Coast Brewing Facility. And interestingly, the brewery are the exclusive beer and sponsor of various jazz festivals around North California and Oregon as well, so that's one thing to keep an eye on if you enjoy your jazz music too. But they've got a fairly impressive range of beers. So in their core range, under the North Coast brand of course, they have the Red Seal Ale, Old Number 38 Stout, Scrimshaw Pilsner and Blue Star Wheat. In the Acme range there's the California IPA, the California Brown and the California Pale Ale. In their ultra premium range there's the Old Rasputin, which is an Imperial Stout. I reviewed that one for you before. Prankster Belgian, this one here the Old Stock Ale, and also the Puck Saison as well. They do have their American Artisanal and Barrel Aged series as well, which are really quite rare, but I would recommend that you try out some of these beers for yourself. The Old Rasputin was beautiful and rated very highly, so that's one that you definitely want to try, and have a look at my review of that one if you are interested. But that's enough about the brewery for now, so let's actually get stuck into this beer itself. I'll just bring up a little bit of the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork of this one before we open it up. This one of course, like I said, is 11.9% and it's got a malt base of Maris Otter, and I think Maris Otter, Kent Goldings, East Kent Goldings, and also some Fugel hops in this one as well. So it should be a very nice beer. I'll just check that you're seeing that there. And yeah, you can see nicely kind of plain label on this one. You can see the North Coast Brewing symbol there. It's on the top as well. As you can see, 2015 vintage. And there is the North Coast bottle cap, which is the same for all their beers, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get this guy open and we'll get on with the tasting here. So, as you can see, a nice smoky opening to this one, and we'll get it out and into the glass. So the first thing that you can notice from the aroma of this one is fruit. You can smell these nice red candied fruit esters coming off this beer right away. Really smells very sweet actually, like a kind of strawberry tart or something, but a very nice smelling beer. And you can see there was about a quarter finger or a half finger of a frothy white head on this one, but that's just faded away to be a very thin foamy layer. If I hold this one up to the light, there is actually a good little bit of sediment particle floating around in this one. I don't know how long Sistia and Bologet had it before they released it. I'm filming this review for you on the 26th of April, and this one is, of course, the 2015 vintage. So I'm not sure exactly how old it is. It doesn't say on the bottle when it was actually bottled, but you can see it's a nice kind of reddish, coppery amber colour. Actually, a deep red amber colour is probably fair colour to describe this one as. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, not too many, but quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. But the head, as you can see, has faded away. There's nothing really there. It's just a very, very thin layer on top of this, but overall it looks very nice. If I put my fingers behind it, you can see there is a degree of transparency there, but probably because of just how dark it is, you can't see it too well on the camera. But let's have a closer look at the aroma of this one. Yeah, so as I was saying, there's a really nice juicy fruit character to this one. It's quite candied actually. It's a big candied fruit, almost like the Haribo Star Mix, the little heart sweeties you get in that. Or candies, I guess, is what you would understand in America. You won't understand the word sweets. Very Scottish word. But yeah, when you sugar it up a bit more, you get more of the toasted caramel, which is what you'd expect. There is a bit of a bready malt base to this one, but it's got that very boozy and complex malt base to it. Some caramel in there, a little bit more of a toasted character as well. Maybe even some darker kind of treacle and sort of darker treacle and molasses, I guess is what you would call it in America. You can really smell that in there. There's some woody and nutty aromas in there as well. Smells very, very nice. But yeah, that's a really good smell, a really nice smelling beer. There's a little bit of vanilla, I want to say, as well. Has a little bit of that kind of slightly oaky vanilla wood character. Some nuttiness in there as well. But a really interesting beer. Smells really, really nice. You can smell the booze off this as well, but at 11.9%, you wouldn't expect anything less. But that's a really awesome smelling beer. Reminds me of a lot of these Belgian beers actually. So we'll get stuck into this guy and see how we get on. As you let it settle down a bit more, it starts to become, you get more of the fruits and a little bit of that bready character just lingering there. But do take a little bit of time to enjoy the aroma of this before you get stuck in. So this one is the Old Stock Ale from North Coast Brewing Company in Fort Bragg, California, the 2015 vintage. Let's get stuck into this guy. Skål. Yeah, I can see immediately why this one is so highly rated, and that's just on a little sip. So as I always say, sugar the beer around your palate a little bit and just let your whole mouth adjust to this one. But that is really nice. There's no two doubts about that. And the one thing that's interesting as well is that you don't get such a big boozy character from it. It has a little bit of alcohol warmth. And you'd expect a bit more actually when it's 11.9%, but it covers it very, very well. And in honesty, there's not so much hop character coming out of this one for me. The hops are very, very smooth. There's just a little smooth, earthy character around the sides of the palate, and it's very, very nicely done. Maybe just a little bit of slight grassiness around the front curve there. Overall, the hops are very smooth. There's not a real bitterness to this beer for me at all. Usually from these English hops, the Fugels and the Kent Goldings, the Fugels give you this sort of kind of ashy character a little bit, and you'll get some earthiness and grassy character from the Goldings. But overall, it's very smooth in this one. You can pick up a little bit of the earthy character in the aftertaste at the back corners. As you come further forward, it does get a little bit grassy, but overall, it is really quite a smooth flavour from the hops on this beer. But the focus of this one is in the malt base, which is in the centre of your palate. So yeah, it's a very nice kind of chewy, sweet caramel that you get from this one. It's big and syrupy. There's not the kind of darker treacle and molasses that I got a little bit in the aroma. This one is more a very sweet and very light caramel. It is a little bit toasted, but it's not really dark at all, and there's some nice kind of woody and nutty flavours just mixing in with that, and I do want to say that there is some vanilla within that as well. That's really nice. That's a beautiful beer. No two doubts about this at all. Underneath all that caramel character too, there's a little bit of a cakey flavour coming out for me. You get this nice kind of, it's not quite Christmas pudding, but it's one of these kind of darker, almost kind of rum infused cake flavours that I'm getting out of this one. It's very, very nicely done. This is a beautiful beer, there's no two doubts about that. Very different from other things that I've tried before. This is my first try of one of these English old ales actually, so I'll need to try one that's actually from England and see how that turns out. But for me, North Coast have hit the nail on the head with this one. This is a really beautiful beer. Just behind the front curve of the palate as well, you'll start to pick up those oily kind of fruity characters. There's a lot of red fruit ester coming out in this beer. For me, it is quite candied, but you do get a little bit of the kind of sharper plums and raisins and things in there. But overall, you get this little oily bubble just behind the front curve of the tongue there. And that's where your nice juicy fruity character comes out in this beer. The flavour of this one is absolutely beautiful. So I would say to you, if you enjoy nice big chewy kind of caramel beers, this is one that you are really going to enjoy, and it covers its alcohol warmth very well. So in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say this is full bodied. There's no question about that. The carbonation is very, very smooth. It's almost as if it's not there, but the mouthfeel is very oily. As I was saying, it's a very malt forward flavour, which is exactly what you would expect. It's got a big kind of chewy character to it. The hops are very, very smooth. As I said, a little bit of earthiness and some grassiness there, but you'd almost miss that, to be honest, because of how prominent the malt is in this beer. And then there's a little bit of juicy fruit character in there. As I said, those kind of candied Haribo Star Mix flavours, and a little bit of the slightly sharper raisins and plums. Maybe a bit figgy as well. It does have a little bit of that figgy ester to it as well. But overall, the thing to take away from this beer review is that this is a damn awesome beer. This is really, really nice. And it fully, in my opinion, it fully deserves its rating of 97 on Rate Beer. There's no two doubts about that. This is a top class beer. One of the best I've reviewed on the channel actually. So if you get the chance to try this one, I would highly recommend it. I'd never seen this one before it appeared in Sistia and Bologna, so if you come across it, I really would recommend it. So yeah, as always, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. If you haven't tried anything from North Coast Brewing Company, I would recommend that you go and give them a go, especially this beer. The Old Rasputin is very nice as well, but I'm told pretty much that you won't be disappointed with anything that you find from these guys. If you do get the chance to try this one, give it a go. If you have tried it already, let me know your own thoughts on it in the comment section below. And until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Go and check out my social media things, but most importantly, do go and try some North Coast beers and let me know some other Californian beers and breweries that you guys would like me to have a look at. Until the next time, it's Slanged you for just now. This one has been the Old Stock Ale 2015 from North Coast Brewing Company in Fort Bragg, California. I'll catch you soon with more Californian beer reviews soon. Cheers.